Hari Om. Yeah. Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Saraswatyai Namaha, Shri Sadgurubhyo Namaha. Samasta Janakalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahmavidvaram Manojavam Marudatulyavegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtam Vatatmajam Vanarayutamukhyam Sri Ramadutam Sirasa Namami. Santoshini Jaganmata Mama Saubhagyavriddhaye Namaskaromi Bhaktya Tvam Prasanna Varada Bhava. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Om Namah Pranavarthaya Shuddha-jnanaikamurtaye Nirmalaya Prashandaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Satchitanandarupaya Vishwotpattyadihetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Sri Krishnaya Vayam Namaha. Nilambujasyamala Komalangam Sita Samaropita Vamabhagam Panau Mahasayaka Charuchapam Namami Ramam Raghuvamsanatham. Janmatyasya yadunvayadidaradacharteshvabhijnaswarat Tene brahmahridaya adigavaye Muhyanti yatsurayah Tejo varimridam yatha vinimayo Yatra tisargo mrisha Dhamna svena sada nirastakuhakam Satyam param dhimahi. Dharma projita gaita putra paramo Nirmatsaranam satam Vedyam vastavamatra vastu shivadam Tapatrayonmulanam. Srimadbhagavate Mahamunikrite Kimva Pareirishvara Sadyo Hrityavarudyate Trakrdivihi Shushrushubittakshanad. Nigamakalpatarorgalitam palam Sugamukadamrtadriva samyutam Pibada Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muro Rasika Bhuvi Bhavuka. Yam Prabhuvrajandamanuvedamapedakrityam Dvaipayano Virahakatara Ajuhava Putreti Tanmayataya Tarabobhinedo Tam Sarvabodahridayam Munivanadosmi. Yasvanubhavamakilashrutisaramegham Adhyatmatdeepamatitirshataam tamondam Samsarinam karunayaha puranaguhyam Tam vyasasunumupayami gurum muninam. Narayanam namaskritya naram jaiva narottamam Devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet. So we were seeing Prahlad Prahlada Charitram. The third time when Chandamarka brought Prahlada to Hiranyakashipu, because there was a revolution in the elementary school. So everybody starts singing Bhagavan's glory, all the children sitting in meditation. It was a shock for the teachers. They didn't want to be blamed, so they immediately reported the matter to the boss. And they said, your son is the leader of it, for this revolt. Then when he saw, he was so angry, and that we saw last time. Then he asked, from where did you get this power? Prahlada answered, there is only one source of strength, me and you. Even to conquer this world, Bhagavan is the power that you have conquered. You think that you have conquered? Actually, it is Bhagavan's power. And when he heard that, now Hiranyakashipu Vacha, 12th verse. Vyaktam tvam martugamosi yoti matram vigathyase mumurshunam hi mandatman dhanusyur viplava giraha. Vyaktam tvam martugamosi. It is Vyaktam, it is very clear that you want to die. Martugamosi. Because otherwise, only a person who is about to die will prattle like this. You who indulge in such senseless and arrogant talk are facing imminent death. For none but those who are face to face with death will talk such unbridled nonsense. Yastvaya manda bhagyokto mandanyo jagadishara kvasau yadisa sarvatra kasma sthambe nadrishyate. Oh, hapless fellow, where is that Lord of the world of whom you speak? If there is any such person other than me, where is that Lord of the world of whom you speak? And Prahlada replied, everywhere. Why is he in this pillar also? Question Hiranyakashipu. Prahlada said, I see him there also. Looking at the pillar, he said, yes, I see him there also. Then, Soham vigatyamanasya shirakayadvaramite upayeda haritvatyaste sharanamipsidam. I, the master of the universe, am now going to sever your head. Let me see. Let me see your Hari, of whom you speak as the shelter of all, protect you. If he can. Let us see. If he can protect you. Evam durukte muharat Ardhayan Rusha Sutam Mahabhagavatam Mahasura Khadgam Pragrihye Prahishyot Patito Varasanat Stambam Tadadadibala Samushtina. Castigating his highly pious son with such angry and abusive words, the powerful Hiranyakashipu jumped up from his throne, sword in hand, and delivered a blow with his very strong fist on the pillar where Prahlada had sat. He saw Sri Hari. In Balavihar, these people, children will play this Prahlada Charitram. One place I was watching. And this Hiranyakashipu was going to strike one pillar. And the Prahlada says, not that one. Because Narasimha was hiding in the other pillar. Not this one, another one. These are all very interesting. Children. One place Ram-Ravana Yudham was going on. Suddenly, so the children were told, 1, 2, 3 strike, 1, 2, 3 strike. So they are very happy to do that. Suddenly what happened? Ramchandraji's sword fell down. Ramchandraji's sword fell down. Immediately Ravana handed over his out of compassion for Rama. So here he struck with force. And what happened? Tateva tasmin ninadodi vishano bhavuva yenanda karaha aspudam yam vai sudhishnopagadam tvajadayah shrutva swaghamapyaya manga menire. Immediately a terrific sound arose from that pillar. That sound was so loud that it seemed to crack the cosmic shell. Hearing it, Brahma and other deities thought that the doomsday of the world, including their spheres, had come down. That reminds me, in Narayaniyam, Bhattadri wrote Narayaniyam, sitting in front of Lord Krishna in Guruvayur. That place is still there. They preserved it, where he sat down. When this portion came, he requested Bhagavan, I have not seen that form. Therefore, I cannot describe. It is only given in Bhagavatam, but I don't know how it is. So how to start describing your form, I don't know. It seems Bhagavan appeared and showed him form. And as he was seeing it, he described. You can see in Narayaniyam the way he describes. It's very beautiful. As though he's seeing it. So these are the things, it is not something that happened millions of years ago. In the 14th century, 15th century. Savikraman putravadepsure rojasa dishamya nirhladam apurvam adbhudam andasabhayam na dadarsha tatpadam vidatra surye na surari yudhapaha. Thus, while Hiranyakashipu was making a determined effort to kill his son, He was wonderstruck to hear the strange and terror-inspiring sound whose source he could not trace anywhere in the assembly. Now here comes a very beautiful portion. Satyam vidhatum dijabhritya bhashitam vyaptim na bhuteshu akhileshu chatmanaha adrishyatat tatyadbhuta rupam uddhahan stambe sabhayam na mrigam na manusham. Satyam vidhatum dijabhritya bhashitam. On this particular line, this Sridhara Swami, who wrote commentary on Bhagavatam, he writes, Satyam vidhatum dijabhritya bhashitam. Now, who are all the Bhrityas of Bhagavan? Who are all the devotees of Bhagavan? One, Satyam vidhatum, to make it true, the words of his servant, his devotee. One is especially, definitely Prahlada. That is one. Second one is what? Brahmaji has given him the boon that he cannot be killed either daytime or nighttime or earth or sky or any creation, that Brahmaji's creation. That also had to come true, right? Then again, who else is this? To prove true the word of his devotee, to prove that he is all-pervasive, one thing. Another thing is, not one servant. Sanat Kumara's curse also have to come true. Then Bhagavan has to come to lift his devotee, who is this Jaya Vijaya. So that is also, he is also, Hiranyakashipu also Bhagavan's devotee only, ultimately. So many devotees' purpose is to be solved. So that's why Satyam vidhatum nijabhritya bhashitam vyaptinja bhudeshu akhileshu jatmanaha. That Bhagavan, who is all-pervasive, he is everywhere. Vyaptim cha bhuteshu akhileshu jatmanaha. In the form of Paramatma, Atma, Antaratma, he pervades the whole creation. That adrishyat atyadbhuta rupam adhuhan sambe janaya Sri Hari. In order to make true the words of his devotee, that he saw Sri Hari in the pillar too, and also to demonstrate that he was immanent in everything. So that is also important, He is everywhere. To prove that the Lord was seen as emerging into the assembly from the pillar in a form that was neither of a beast nor a man. So, in Stavara Jangamas, Bhagavan is present. This we have to know. There was a portion in Mahabharata I was talking about yesterday. This Bhishma Pitamaha is teaching on Dharma Shastra to Yudhishthira. It's a long portion. Shanti Parva. There, he asks a question, if the tree also has life, and human body is made of 5 elements, is the trees and plants also made of 5 elements? And the answer was given, yes, the trees also are made of 5 elements. Because the Vayu Tattvam is there, Space Tattvam is there, water also there because it takes water from earth through the roots. Agni Tattvam is also there because life is there. Because that is why the birth and death also is there for trees. Sometime it dies, isn't it? So it is the tree cutting also, you should say you are cutting a life. So that is very important. How? That's why Hindus worship trees also, because we know there is life. And the Nalakupara story there, you see in the 10th canto, this Nalakupara was Kubera's children. They became trees. That means there is life. So, na mrugam na manusham. Because neither human being nor animals should kill him. That was his condition. So Bhagavan took the form of a Narasimha. Body is human, only head is Simha. Now how it looked, that's all. Sasat tvamenam parito vipashyan stambasya madhyadanu nirjihanam Nayam mrigo navi naro vichitram aho kimetan nirvigendra rupam. The Asura who was looking around for the source of that sound, now saw that form emerging from the pillar. A wonderful form which was neither a whole man nor a whole animal, but lo, man-lion. Bhimam samanasya samutthidograto nrisimharupastadalam bhayanakam pratapta chamigara chandalojanam spurastadake sarajambidananam. While Hiranyakashipu was questioning himself anxiously within, there stood before him that very fierce form of Narasimha, having glowing and fearful eyes, resembling the color of molten gold, and a face surrounded by brilliant matted locks and mane. Karaladamstram karavala chanjala churandajihvam brukuti bhut pranam Thambodhvakarnam girigandharadbhutas vyattasyanasam anubheda bhishanam. His fangs were terror-inspiring. His tongue was sharp and quivering like a sword. His curved eyebrows gave a frightful look to his face. His ears stood erect and high. His open mouth and nostril looked like a strange mountain caves, while his cleft cheeks added ferocity to the face. Divisprishatkaya madhirgapivara grivoruvatshastalamalpamadhyamam Chandramshu gaure churitam tanuruhei Vishwapujani-kashatam akhayutam. His body, touching the sky, had a neck that was short and thick, a chest that was broad, and an abdomen that was slender, with hair resembling the rays of the moon covering his body. He had innumerable arms set on all sides, with claws that looked like weapons. Because Hiranyakashipu said, I should not be killed with any weapon. So Bhagavan used his nail. Durasadam Sarva Nijedara Yudha Pravega Didravida Daityadanavam Prayena Meyam Harino Rumayina Vadasmruto Nena Samudyatena Kim. So this Asura, the form that stood before Hiranyakashipu was so formidable that none could approach him. And the Daityas and Danavas all fled away in every direction before his special Sudarshana discus and other weapons. Then seeing him, Hiranyakashipu thought, this is perhaps the strategy thought out by that Hari, the master of all magical arts, to kill me, to bring my death. But let me see what this Hari can do against me. Still he did not give up. Evam Bruvan Tambapatat Gadayutho Nadan Nrisimham Pradi Daitya Kunjara Alakshidogno Patita Patangamo Yatha Nrisimho Resi So Surastada. Like a moth rushing into the fire, Asura rushed towards Bhagavan. But Asura got engulfed in the Lord. Now thinking like this, Asura, armed with the mace, rushed at the man-lion, that is Narasimha, like a moth rushing into a fire. Asura was thereupon engulfed in the luminosity of the man-lion and became invisible. Nadat vichitram khalu sattvadhamanis sutejasayo nupurapivat tavaha tato vivadhyam bhanan mahasuro rusha dasimham gatayoruvegaya. There is nothing extraordinary or astonishing about this in the case of Mahavishnu, the pure being of radiant sattva, who at the end of the pralaya neutralizes that world engulfing darkness of tamas by his own brilliance. Approaching the Narasimha, the great Asura delivered a mighty blow on him with his powerful mace. Tam vikramandam sagadam gadadharo mahoragam tarkshasudo yadagrahide sadasya hastot kalidastadasuro vikridato yadvahi gargarutataha. Tarkshasutaha. See, Tarkshasuta. He is also called Tarksha. Kashyapa. Kashyapa is also called Tarksha. Yeah. Just like Garuda catching a serpent, the Lord caught the attacking Asura in his claws, but the Asura freed himself from the hold of the sportive man-lion, a serpent from Garuda. Now you see what happened. Bhagavan caught him, but he slipped from his grip. Now all these are being watched by these devatas from behind the clouds. They were watching. Suddenly they got surprised. how this Asura is powerful. He escaped from the grip of Bhagavan. Bhagavan was playing with him. Because he has to wait for the time, no? Yeah. So he has to play with it. He allowed him to slip. Tam manyamano nijaveerashankitam yaddastamukto drharim mahasura punasthamasajjata kharga charmini pragrhya vegena jidashramo mridhe. Devas and the lords of the quarters who had all been deprived of their realms by the asuras and who are now watching the scene from behind the clouds considered it a calamity that the asura had escaped from the hold of the Lord. See, think about their faith. Suddenly they felt, oh. Now, Asura also, Hiranyakashipu also thought that it is his enemy's weakness, his fear of him. Soon, without any sign of strain, he approached the Lord again for battle, sword and shield in hand. Now he got more, courage. Tam shenavegam satachandravatmavir charandamachhidra muparyato harihi kritvattahasam kharamurjanodbalam nimilidaksham jagrihe mahajavaha. The fierce asura, whose eyes were dazzled by the brilliance of the Narasimha, was yelling and moving up and down with the speed of a falcon, according to the tactics of combat, in order to save himself from falling into the clutches of his opponent. But he was soon caught again by the Lord with a resounding roar. Vishwakspurandam grahanaduram harivyalo yathakum kulishakshatattvacham daryura apatya dadara leelaya nakher yadahim garudo mahavisham. Desperately struggling, as the asura was to free himself from the distressing hold of the Narasimha, like a mouse from that of a serpent. The Lord laid him on his thighs, sitting on the threshold of the assembly hall, and as Garuda tear apart a snake, he playfully tore open the asura's body at the time of sunset, the body on which even a scratch could not be made by Indra's thunderbolt. Sambrahmadutpeksha karala lochano vyattanananantam vilihan sujihvaya asrikdavaktaruna kesaranano yadhandramali dipahatyaya harihi. Man-lion form of the Lord then appeared forbidding to look at, because the fury reflected in his eyes, with his tongue licking the two corners of his wide open mouth, with the mane of his face and neck reddened by a drop of blood, and with the loops of intestine hanging on his neck. The Lord, as the man-lion, presented a formidable appearance, like a lion who had slain an elephant. Now he now attacked the followers of Hiranyakashipu, throwing aside the body of Hiranya. After Hiranya died, just threw it. And all the other Rakshasas approached him. Bhagavan again attacked them with his multi-armed, went round attacking and killing in hundreds with the stroke of his nails. Now 34. Afterwards, what happened? Tatas sabhayam upavishtamuttame dripasane sambhrita tejasam vibhum alakshit advaita ratha patma darshanam prachandavaktram na bhavaja kaschana. Afterwards, Bhagavan sat on the throne, seated himself on the royal throne in all his splendorous glory. Now none dare to approach him, that powerful being, terrific face which bore marks of anger, because there were no more opponents to be confronted, but still he looked angry. Nishamya lokatrayamastakhanjaram tamadidityam harinahatam mridhe prahasha vegot kalidananamuhu prasuravarshey vapushussurastriyaha. What happened? All the surastri, the celestial women, once they know that this Asura is killed, now they are relieved. So they rained flowers from the heavens. That is their job. Thokri varke laate hai. Whenever something like this happens, immediately shower flowers. Tada vimanavaliphir napastalam didrikshadam sankulamaasanaginam suranaka dundubayodhagaddhire gandharva mukhya nadudujjagustriyaha. So what happened? All these, the sky was crowded with the aerial cars of celestials who gathered to see the happening. Devas then sounded the kettle drums while the leading Gandharvas danced and their women sang. Tatropa vibhuda brahmendra girishadayaha rishayapitaras siddha vidyadara mahoragaha manava prajanam patayo gandharva apsarajaranaha yaksha kimpurushastadaha vetala siddhakinnaraha te vishnu parshada sarve sunanda kumudadeha mutrim baddhanjali buddha asinam tivradejasam idire narasardhulam nadi durachara prithak. All these people came. A list of people are given there. Who are all there? Say, all species of being, Brahma, Indra, Parameshwara, and other divinities, Rishis, Pitras, Siddhas, Vidyadharas, great serpent, divine serpents, Manus, Prajapatis, Gandharvas, Asuras, Charanas, Yaksha, Kimpurushas, Vetalas, Siddheshwaras, Kinnaras, as well as Bhagavan attendant, Sunanda and Kumuda, all the standing from a distance. Nobody went near him. And they started extolling him. Each one starts saying, praising Bhagavan. Brahmo Vacha. Brahmaji said, Bhagavan, your powers are omnipotent. You create, you sustain and destroy. Thyself, you are Sachidananda Swarupa. So idea is what? Please calm down. Bhagavan Rudra says, this Asura is already killed by you. Now, give shelter to thy devotee Prahlada, who is standing by thy side. So, no need to get angry anymore. Not necessary. It's over. Asura is killed. Indra said, all the offering to Devatas and to you, this Asura was taking. Now at least we will be, better, because we will be fed, because if these, human beings who perform rituals in our Vedas, we are qualified, we are given a name, Deva Pashu. Pashu is the one cow you keep on milking, right? The same way, these human beings who are doing rituals, see, Devatas are milking us. Deva Pashu, that is a term used in Vedas about us doing rituals. So if rituals are not performed, Devatas will become famished, you see. That's why Ravana, sanctioned. They cut off all the rituals, because then Devatas become weak. Then they can approach them, kill them, destroy them, all that. So that's why he said, Indra said, now are relieved. He is now, we can get our food. Then Rishi said, our tapas was obstructed by this Asura. So now you have saved us. Pitru said, this Shraddha performance were not available for us now. That is happening now also. So people have modernized, no? So they don't give Shraddha. Actually, the Sampradaya of Shraddha is there in every ritual, every religion, in different form. Christianity is also that what is that, cleaning or something like that. Tomb cleaning. Yeah, they go once a year, they go put a flower and come back, isn't it? Yeah. Huh? Yeah, Christianity is there. And in Buddhism also it is there. Chinese, the Taoism also it is there. Huh? Yeah, Mexicans also there. Every religion it is there. Hindus, they are supposed to do, but they don't do it. Amavasi Tarpanam. You should do. Shraddha Karma. Shraddhaya Kritam Karma is called Shraddha Karma. Okay. Because you have Shraddha that Pitris are there. Then Siddhas, all our powers took away. This, what you call Siddhas, they have psychic powers. Through the strength of his concentration and austerities, we attained this. But we were deprived of that by this Asura. Vidyadhara said, they have this power of appearance, disappearance, you see. This power also was obstructed by this Asura. Yogic powers. Nagas, they said, They have taken our jewels, money. See, Nagas are supposed to have this money, the jewels. Not only that, our women also taken, Naga Kanyas also taken by him. And Manus, there's a code of conduct and dharma, he never followed anything. Like, our president says, I follow my morality, my dharma. Hiranyakashipu. Prajapati said, he was interfering in our, what he called, the Prajapatis are the one who propagate progeny. He was interfering that also. So that's what happened in China, you see. They're restricted, only one child, like that, they said. And it was such a terror for the parents. If they have a girl, it was a problem. It was only boys. Now what happened, they are struggling. They have no young crowd now. They have all old people. Average age is something like 50 or 60. That is what is happening. But whereas India is, we have a younger crowd, very much. Anyway, that's what Prajapatis complain. Gandharvas, they say, he made us sing and dance in front of him. Then Yaksha said, we had to carry his palanquin. So Yakshas means that Kubera's people. Kimpurusas, we are simple people. When gods were defeated, we lost all our privileges. Kinnara said, this Asura made us work like servants without any salary. Now, attendants of Vishnu, Bhagavan said, killing this Asura Hiranyakashipu, Bhagavan, you have blessed him. Now, Narada says, Evam Suradaya Sarve Brahmarudra Purassara Nopedu Mashakan Manyuho Samrambham Sudurasadam. None of the divinities like Brahma or Rudra dared to go near the Lord. In this wrathful mood which made him unapproachable to them. Saksha Shri Preshita Devai Drishta Tan Mahad Adbhudam Adrishta Shrita Purvatva Sa No Peyaya Shankita. Then Brahmaji approached Sri Lakshmiji. Hey, you are his wife, or consort. You can go. She said, Na Baba, I never seen him like this before. I can't go. And another problem is, suppose he lovingly touches me with his nails. My pattasari and all will go. No way, I am not going there. But afterward, Brahmaji told, Prahladam preshayamasa brahmavastidamantike tada prasamayopehi swapitre kupitam prabhum. Thereupon Brahma told Prahlada, standing nearby, Oh dear boy, go near the Lord who has been angry at your father and try to pacify him. Tade dishanagay rajan mahabhagavator arbhagaha upetya bhuvikayena nanama vidridanjalihi. Agreeing to do so, he did not have any fear. It is like, Sridhara Swami writes that suppose a lion is there, the baby of the lion is afraid to approach the lion, isn't it? The same way here also, Prahlada was like a child. He did not fear. He is a great lover of the Lord. Prahlada advanced slowly towards him and with palms joined in salutation, prostrated Sashtanga Pranam on the ground before him. Swapadamule patitam tamarphakam vilokya videva kripaya pariplutaha uttapya tachishna dadada karambujam kalahi viprastatiyam kritabhayam. When Bhagavan saw the boy lying in prostration before him, the Lord was bathed in an upsurge of tender feeling. He lifted him up and placed on his head his divine palms, on which offer shelter to those who are frightened by the threat of the serpent of time. Satatkarat parshadutagila shubha sapatya vipyakta paratma darshanaha tatpadapatnam hridarvrido dadau hrishyasthanuklinna hridashulochanaha. The touch of the Lord's palm at once dissipated all traces of ignorance from Prahlada's heart and filled it with the clear presence of the Lord. Overflowing with bliss within, his heart melted in love. His hair stood on end and tears streamed from his eyes. Bhagavan's touch. Astaushi durime ekagra manasa susamahitaha prema gadgadaya vacha tanyastat hridayekshanaha. His heart and eyes fixed on the Lord, his mind peaceful and concentrated, and now began to extol Sri Hari in a voice troubled with love. Now here is a very famous Prahlada Stuti. It's a long one, okay. This Prahlada Stuti we should read completely, because it's supposed to be one of the most beautiful Stuti. Can I stop here? Because today I have to go. Because if I start, it will not stop. It's going. It's a long one, but a beautiful stuti. And Bhagavan was so pleased with Prahlada. He said, ask of me any boon you want, I'll give you. Prahlada said, my devotion is not for exchange of. It is not a business like devotion. All these things are beautiful. Because if you give me some bone and dismiss me, oh, you have done your job. No, I won't allow that.